Hello. Welcome to Wyverns Weirdos, A Journey Home. I'm your Dungeon Master Darby, and joining me as always are Zoe, playing Sevia, Emily, playing Beatrice, Laura, playing Conrad, and Johanna, playing Fall. Let's jump into it. Where we last left off, the party were exploring the lost library in the quarry, when they discovered that they weren't the first to get here. Krull, one of Arkan's lackeys, interrupted their explorations atop the back of a hydra that the party had a hard-fought battle against before eventually slaying both the Hydra and Krull. So, what would folks like to do? There is, may I remind you, in this crumbling library chamber, a massive Hydra body. And Conrad is at the moment hearing lots of whispered voices to the point that he is deafened.
Yes, well, Conrad would be he'd be just, like, more slowly aware of, like, the Hydra's fallen down, and all that's happened, but he's just kind of covering his ears, and he's just kind of like looking, he's like turned away in some other distance, for the next 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Beatrice stands up after murdering Krull and turns to the group and says, well, if he's here, then I think there might be something a little bit interesting around here. And she turns to Caleb and Bo and says, this is one of Arkan's lackeys.
Interesting. So, dragons, is it possible that he already found what he was looking for? I'm not too familiar with this fellow, but his mask is very draconic looking.
It is true.
And there is the
Beatrice...
white mask that very much resembles a white dragon.
Beatrice is going to investigate the body.
Yeah.
Do you have my...
You go, Joe. Oh yeah, in the meantime, I think Fall was aware that something is up with Conrad, so he was just trying to check over him and probably being like, Celia, do you know what's going on here? Conrad, can you hear me?
He would look to you, but not in response to you saying that, I suppose. He just looks very distracted. He kind of pulls his hands down, but just looks at you like, pardon? What?
Can you not hear? Fall look over at his ears.
you probably hear the hear of that sentence.
There we go. What were you saying?
What happened there? I was just checking. You seem to be cursed by something.
And he's like panting a bit, and he just like his eyes just he steps out of throat back into throat. He's like, quiet. No, it's all right. I'm not sure what came over me. Must have been some sort of magic, I suppose. Okay. Is he dead? Is everything stopped now?
Yeah.
Dragon gone, so that's good. The one with all the heads. It is felled.
Yes.
Good. A good job. And he kind of like shrugs off Fall a bit, but just he doesn't move though. He's just like, don't touch me. Just a little
Caleb,
shoulder roll.
You hear Bo yell out the Master Widowgast. Pretty sure it ended with 9 heads. Strange. But a coincidence, I am sure. Interesting timing, though.
That was a 22 for investigation from Beatrice.
Okay. So Krull has 3 vials kind of hanging around his neck. 1 red, 1 yellow, 1 green. Other than that, he has kind of pauldrons, but you gather they seem more for show because they're probably, or either for show or to just reinforce the natural armor provided by his shell. They're a very heavy set metal, but nothing overly valuable. They might have some value to them because of the design to them, but yeah, nothing like there doesn't seem to be anything magical about them or the like. Same with his what is it? His maul. Actually, no. The maul has a faint kind of magical feel to it, and is styled with many skulls, or the aesthetic of many skulls. It is in fact all metal. A dark, quite heavy metal.
Stevia.
Oh,
Yes.
and he also has the white mask on him, in
Yes.
the vague shape of a white dragon's head.
So Beatrice snags the mask and the vials and sort of looks at the weapon and the pauldrons and goes, to add to the pile of things to and like, spirit fingers.
Sevia had been like, I believe, at the end of last combat, like right before she disintegrated part of the Hydra, she'd like conked her head real good on a big gilded book. So like, she is still a little blinky about it, and the entire time she was like coming back into focus, she was just watching Conrad have this like freak out and then just drop it, and she's like, something in her face looks like it resolves a little bit upon seeing that, and then she kind of shakes her head when Beatrice calls on her, and she goes, "Oh, yes, good. The pile was getting depleted. It's been a while. I can certainly do that for you now or later."
I mean, it's up to you.
Well,
Did anybody find anything before that thing came thundering in?
I found a book,
Yes.
but that's pretty par for the course for me.
I found some bloody hand wraps, which is weird. I don't know how they got here.
Conrad?
Well, there's plenty of books here, that's for certain. Nothing out of the ordinary. He says incredibly convincingly with a nat 20.
A nat 20?
22 in deception.
Nice.
He gestures to all the books everywhere.
Yeah. He's not lying.
Beatrice isn't gonna say anything.
Yeah. All right. Well, I've investigated bloody things before. I can handle that. Master Widowgast, Expositor Lionette.
Yeah. Yes.
Are we planning on doing anything with the giant semi-disintegrated corpse of a hydra and a giant turtle that may potentially have a commander looking for it? Or are we going to do what often seems to happen after we kill something very big and just sort of avoid it and tiptoe around it like an awkward subject?
I don't think that avoiding it is a great way to deal with a problem. I tried that for many years and it just seemed to make things very much worse. The Hydra is going to be a problem.
Well, its innards are a little disintegrated. You could probably give it a good whack and it should fall apart like a bit of a party balloon.
Well, I was going to say, is there anything that people want from the Hydra? Anything that people want to harvest? I know some people do that.
Harvest body?
It's magical beasts, they're sometimes alchemists have purpose with them, but for me it feels like it would be worth, it would be too much effort for what it would be worth. Especially compared to what else we could find in this library.
Yeah, that's fair. Yes, I know people. My monastery used to keep keepsakes from big creatures they'd slain, but don't really see the point to it myself. I wouldn't exactly want to lug around a head or anything. Ugh.
Interesting factor. Conrad will stalk over to go and have a look over the bodies.
Yeah.
For whatever means he's doing. He's not looking for items, he's looking at the bodies.
Are you trying to climb something, Conrad?
Are we to leave this for some reason, or
Well, I can do a bit of cleanup if we want.
It is of no consequence to me. Simply had ideas.
Oh, if you have ideas, please go ahead. Explore your ideas first, and then I will get rid of what remains.
Perfect. Carry on. He's gonna have a look around.
All right. And what was it that we also found outside?
People do other things. Yeah. Presumably.
Remind me what we found outside as well. So we have the book. We have the So we have the book. We have the
bloody rags.
The wraps.
See,
8.
The helm and sword.
Yes, from the weird statue.
The helm, the sword.
Oh, that's also in the pile.
Yes.
Yeah.
The only other thing I can think of that we found outside was that lovely little gnome named 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧. So I don't think I need to identify him. He already told us his name.
Yeah. Helm, or I believe it was a visor, wasn't it?
A visor.
Visor, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So, do any of you know how to identify? Good.
I do. Stevie
good.
is great at it.
That should lighten the load. We'll just need 22 minutes. 4 items, 2 each.
But 2, not just me. Okay.
Yeah, I also identify.
Oh, sorry, I'm used to being the only one. Okay. And she's gonna slide out that big heavy book, that Conctor one, and she's gonna take that and she's gonna scurry over to Caleb with their pile of things. And she'll take the book and the bloody hand rags.
Okay.
Because we have like
Yeah.
more things to identify because we also have the vials and the mask, but like
So which one are you identifying first of the two?
book. Big
Okay.
book. Made metal. Look important.
Okay. So the book is the where is magic items chapter here? Where is it? Wildmount treasures 270 for the. So this book is a powerful object, and you can feel as if there's some sort of latent magic locked away within it as well, but you can't quite gather what is possible with it if you were to unlock that magic. But as it stands, this book, as you have worked out through trial and error, is magically enchanted to have an infinite number of pages, though it only weighs 3 pounds. And most of it is currently blank, but there are a number of spells contained within it, pre-written. Those are Alarm, Anti-Magic Field, Bigby's Hand, Blight, Charm Person, Confusion, Control Weather, Create Undead, Detect Thoughts, Enlarge, Reduce, Fear, Foresight, Gaseous Form, Glyph of Warding, Legend Lore, Lemon's Tiny Hut, Mass Suggestion, Mislead, Misty Step, Mordenkainen's Faithful Hound, Prismatic Spray, Ray of Enfeeblement, Silent Image, Teleport, and Thunderwave. You can also use this grimoire as a spell book, and when you scribe, and you can scribe new spells into it as normal. When you prepare wizard spells using the grimoire, the number of wizard spells you can prepare increases by 1.
Ooh.
As you finish identifying that, Caleb would finish on the visor. He says, so these are very special. These are from the Divergence. These are from the Calamity. While wearing them in their current state, you can see normally they allow whoever's wearing them to see in darkness, and it helps them to see better in general, even in daylight. And it has some sort of magic that is locked away as well.
Curious. This grimoire here does as well. I can't access what it would be if it was unlocked.
Interesting.
Perhaps that's part of this library. Everything in here has something within it locked away.
Yeah.
Difficult to access, but if accessed, incredibly powerful. Potentially why it's down here.
Quite possibly.
Potentially why this whole place is lost in the first place.
Yeah.
Sevia does not have an inside voice, I will remind everyone.
Conrad looks very interested in the background.
Beatrice, Conrad, before we get started on the other two, have you two found anything on the Total or the Hydra?
Beatrice would have already handed over the vials and the mask. and would have gone back to patrolling the area to sniff out more danger.
Okay. But I take it you've given the maul and put the maul and the mask into the pile for identification?
Yes, correct.
I think this is going on full kind of just like clutches their head a little bit like ooh dizzy, and gives himself a little cure wounds, and then we'll sit down, kind of like bandage those fingers up a little bit and start playing a song of rest on the lyre to try to kind of like, let's get everyone healing a bit. That was quite the fight. Prop against the wall.
All right. So I take it 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 as well as Caleb would take another 11 minutes.
𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧's waiting to see if Conrad found
Okay.
anything on the Hydra, because Caleb asked.
I presume he wouldn't have.
No, like there's some value in the scales. If not as much as a true dragon, but definitely some value in the scales. You could probably get some pieces of it, like various bits of its insides as well. But as Caleb said, you imagine, especially from hearing bits and pieces of like what these things they're identifying are, there is much more valuable stuff if you in this place ignoring this Hydra. So it's purely up to you as to whether there's personal value that you see.
He's looked at the Hydra previously. He's looking more at Kroll's corpse. He might be naming that slightly. Is all I'll say. And then he will continue to look around the library for little.
Is that naming that in the way that you hinted at in the Yes.
Yep. Cool.
Okay.
We'll cover that later. Yep.
Yes, because there's a part B to that when you get back to civilization.
Yes, that's it.
Yes. All right. So nothing more. Okay. But we have the maul and the mask. So we'll need an additional 11 minutes on top of the 11 minutes that was already remaining.
Oh, it's fine, Caleb. They're used to me taking about an hour for all of this. They'll go off and do their little investigations and probably find something horrific in the meantime. It's what they often do.
Lucky.
Yes, if
This
I don't
one used
find
to
something
give me shit all the time. And he points at Bo. I mean, to be fair, it was annoying.
Well, magic takes time.
Did you ever get curses? Veth did. Yeah, because I wasn't allowed to identify the dagger. Fire.
You had I almost did Caleb's accent. You had someone with a cursed dagger.
Yeah. It was killing them whenever they were healed. Fucked up curse if I ever heard of it.
No, and I thought our curses were bad.
Yeah.
I mean, swings and roundabouts.
Fortunately, we caught it before it got close to doing real harm.
Well, that's good.
Good to hear.
Okay, so what next? The wraps?
Yeah, Fall seemed put out by them, so 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 is going to take some time to work out if these wraps are magical.
They are. They are called the Wraps of Dyamak. And
Dyamak.
yes, DYAMAK. And they require attunement, specifically from a monk. And so, created and wielded by the ancient warrior Dyamak, these thick cloth strips of enchanted material appear to be stained with blood of unknown origin. You have a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with your unarmed strikes. Whenever you finish a short or long rest, you gain a number of temporary hit points equal to your full key points. And similarly, there seems to be some magic locked away that you can't quite work out what it would do if it was unlocked.
Cool. Another item with mysterious extra magic.
Not so much with this one. It is special, it has magic, but nothing locked away, Caleb says in reference to the sword. It's just enchanted. This one's just enchanted to be particularly sharp. Specifically, it is a +2 weapon. The +2 long sword.
Well, there's always one easy one, isn't there?
Yeah. So, did you want to try the maul or the mask?
I'll take the mask. We have experience with those.
Okay, good. I will take them all. And another 10 or another 11 minutes goes by. And so the maul is simply a +1 maul. The mask is called the White Dragon Mask. It is legendary and requires attunement. Gleaming mask is white with highlights of paler blue and is topped by a spined crest. Mask reshapes to fit a wearer attuned to it. And while you are wearing the mask and attuned to it, you can access the following properties. Damage absorption. You have resistance to cold. If you already have damage resistance to cold from another source, you gain immunity to cold. If you already have immunity to cold damage from another source, you regain hit points equal to half of any cold damage you are dealt. Draconic Majesty. While you are wearing no armor, you can add your charisma bonus to your armor class. Dragon Breath. If you have a breath weapon that requires rest to recharge, it gains a recharge of 6. Dragon Sight. You gain dark vision with a radius of 60 feet, or an additional 60 feet of dark vision if you already have that sense. Once per day, you can gain blind sight out to a range of 30 feet for 5 minutes. Dragon Tongue. You can speak and understand Draconic. You also have advantage on any charisma check you make against white dragons. Legendary Resistance once per day. If you fail a saving throw, you can choose to succeed instead. And Winter's Fury. While your current hit points are equal to or less than half your hit point maximum, you deal an extra 1d8 cold damage with your melee attacks. There is also, it's not the same as the others in terms of like a locked magic, but there seems to be a sort of sympathetic nature to its magic that suggests that something might happen if it is combined with others of its type.
Oh. Well. No wonder Kroll had his hands on this one.
Yeah.
The dragon theme with this lot really goes all the way down. This, well, frankly, what doesn't it do? And Sevia will do the list to Caleb. Very, very excited by the fact that he like nods knowingly. And she's like, yes, a wizard. But he's nicer than one kind. And she is then like, this really seems to be the jewel in the crown so far as everything we were looking for.
Yeah. I mean, the vestiges are also quite nice.
The vestiges?
Yeah,
The
book,
calamity you mentioned.
Yeah, they are powerful magic from ancient history. They They react to the power of those who wield them and come out of their dormancy as they are used.
Oh.
I would suggest that they would probably come in handy for you and your kind, you and your friends, if you are focusing on getting to Archon and making your pass home.
And that was the wraps and the
wraps, the book, and the visor.
The book and the visor.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
The dragon mask. You're saying it could be combined.
Well, yes,
others
they
of
would
its kind.
probably be helpful.
I think. And tell me if I am being out of turn here, Bo, or you, Sevia, but I would almost suggest that that should be under the protection of possibly the Cobalt Soul, rather than running around with it, in case you'll come across someone else with that mask who can simply unlock its greater power. Especially if you seem to be seeking out people who are probably also seeking out these masks.
Fair.
But at the same time, if you feel like one of you would make use of it,
Oh, I feel like
Then-
any of us could make use of it.
then it becomes a bit of a fight fire with fire type scenario.
I mean, it would certainly be useful. And she pointedly does not look at Conrad, Fall, or Beatrice when she says this. She is making very pointed eye contact with Caleb's left ear. And she's like, we do make a habit of acquiring objects that could be described as potential issues if they run into the wrong thing, and then using them for our own purposes. We're pretty 50-50 for it either going in our favor or going against us, depending on your definition of against us.
In my experience, that tends to be the way of these kind of approaches to things.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
But we are also a group of people who, even if we don't say it out loud, we weigh the pros and cons. If
Not
there
an
are more
unhealthy
pros than
outlook.
cons, yes, if there are more pros than cons, we make do. I am wary of carrying a mask that could potentially make one of our numbers switch sides. But
Does
that
the
is weighed
item
against.
have that capability?
It is weighed against my assurance that we are all strong enough of will to resist it. I think many of us have faced greater challenges, or at the very least enough challenges to handle it.
Would you allow me to look at it for a minute?
Of course.
I want to see exactly what it's capable of for myself.
She hands over the mask.
And he focuses in on it. He actually casts a spell. There is no sentience in the mask. Any sort of combination that comes from it is, shall we say, it would come down to someone combining the masks, the mask with similar masks of its kind. So if you kept it on your person, if you made sure that it didn't get into someone else's hands, it would be fine to have. If, on the other hand, it ended up in someone else's hands, that also already has a mask and is maybe trying to help Tiamat get back. That could be a bad thing.
Maybe. We're very good at keeping hold of things once we have them.
I will leave the
Most of the
decision to
time.
you and your companions.
I will put it to a group vote. Thank you.
All good.
Okay. So, Sevia will take the mask back and she'll just look at it for a minute. Just feel the weight of this little thing that has so much power in it. And then she's going to look around the room and see what the rest of the group is doing. All their nefarious little deeds. Little sins they're all committing. And then she'll kind of gesture a hand to Caleb that she's going to go talk to the group and then get up and go, friends, a brief word? Then kind of pull everyone into a corner. Just with like her big eyes, just doing the like, secret conversation, follow me.
Oh, yes. Paul was lying on the flat on the ground doing stretches, and it just pops up like, oh yes, what's going on?
Conrad will stride up as well.
Beatrice
Yes.
wonders.
What?
So, Kroll's mask. Well, he was really underutilizing it, to put it mildly. Or he was just weak as all get out. But this mask is legendary. Not in a metaphorical sense, it literally can be categorized as such. And it can do all sorts of things for someone. It can absorb damage, it can make you resistant to cold or immune to cold or healed from cold, it can give you HP and dark vision and a boost to your ability to not be hit and all sorts of things. However, there is also a possibility that with us carrying it around, someone else with a different mask that correlates to a different color of dragon could take it and then use it for very big bad things, and that person would probably be Arkan or one of his cohort. So the question posed to us is whether we want to travel with this or surrender it to the Cobalt Soul, where Beauregard works.
Should it be safe with them?
As safe as they assure me, so as much as we trust Caleb and Beauregard's word.
Beatrice looks over at Caleb and Beau and sort of looks thoughtful and looks back at everyone else. I think it's probably best not to have it out in the world. Because wherever we go, trouble just finds us, right? And we're bound to bump into this, that, and everything else. Perhaps not good to keep it, if it could potentially end up in the wrong hand.
If we trust them, and if this is part of a puzzle that they require, then the best choice is to make it not an option. Can't exactly complete a puzzle with the last piece missing. As long as we trust them to keep it safe.
I don't trust them in general, but they do seem to be opposed to Arkan. They might not give it to him, or they might do something with it themselves.
Well, the latter doesn't particularly matter. Either we stay here or we leave. If we leave, then it's not really our problem. whether or not they do good things with it, or things of value at all.
True. Are you sure that you two, they indicate Severe and Conrad, you two wouldn't want to use this? I mean, it would give you many benefits. Like, I mean, it sounds silly, but even being able to see in the dark would be quite useful to you two.
It does sound very useful.
Sounds extremely useful. And Stevia makes very meaningful eye contact with Conrad. That he's not seen from her in a while. Not since the Amber Temple.
Okay. Insight check.
Go.
Cool. I don't think his insight's very good. Oh, yes, 0. 16.
Okay. This is like when he brought to her the idea of touching the coffins. And there was that moment where she looked like she wanted more than anything to do it, and then had to pull herself back from that impulse. And then like logicked herself out of this. And in this moment, she looks like she is hearing the logic of the situation. But there's something about her that is scared to leave something this powerful not with us.
I mean, it certainly could be useful. And who's to say? I mean, if the concern is if they get their hands on it, then something worse may happen. We're going to encounter them anyway. Why not have the upper edge on it?
A fair insight.
Are
And
they insisting on taking it? Or is it an
No.
option?
It's up to us.
They're certainly trusting us with an awful lot. Would
Clearly,
be poor to squander it.
They see something in us. They're also willing to let us have a lot of these other items. They call them vestiges, something from a period, something called the Calamity, something that happened early in the origin of their world. Between this and that visor we found, Comrade and I could both have dark vision.
They must certainly not like Arcan a great deal. To offer such kindness to us in return.
Or at the very least, whether they know of him or not, they dislike what he's trying to do more than they don't know us. A fair assessment.
So I think it would be waste to get rid of it this soon. Just to say there will not be more. This may help.
And you are right, Conrad, if this is a puzzle, which it seems it is, if we complete the puzzle, maybe there are good things in that. And if not, well, at the end of the day, it is wood. Magic is easy to dispel, and wood is easy to break.
'Tis true. I vote we keep it then.
Sevia gives him a little nod. And there's this moment where it's very much a moment of thanks. And she goes, I certainly would not argue.
Yes, I vote the same.
I am not terribly comfortable with something like this in our hands, but if you all outvote me, you outvote me. And Beatrice just sort of nods at them all. If that is all, I'm going to make sure nothing else sneaks up on us. And she stalks off.
Thank you, Beatrice.
Good. Decided.
I will alert Caleb and Bo of our decision, and then we can rest for a little bit. Potentially continue investigating if there are no more big scary creatures waiting to kill us.
Good. You do that then. And Conrad turns to the side a little bit and kind of just like raises a hand, and some of the shadows from around the library sort of coalesce into like this misshapen form, which he then throws like a sizable little like he's obviously wrapped something up in some fabric from his bag that he has. And throws it into it's like, Exe, catch, carry this for me. Let's keep having a look. And he strides off into to look through the rest of the library as the shadow spawn follows along.
Okay.
Harold looks very disconcerted by the shadow spawn. And is like, me but big? Oh. Yeah, and then Sevia will go tell Bo and Caleb that, and then put all of our new playthings in the bag of holding.
Yeah. All right. So, is it just Conrad or Conrad and Beatrice going to explore further down the caverns?
Beatrice has gone off to explore.
Yeah. Okay. So
She has also healed herself a little bit.
okay. And so I was getting that right, wasn't I, Laura? That Conrad was exploring a little further. Yep.
Yeah.
Can I get both Conrad and Beatrice then to roll me investigation checks?
Sure thing. And Conrad is also saying to himself, like, anything else? Show me. Where?
Conrad, you can have advantage on that because you've got your 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧
Yes, that's right.
helping you.
Excellent. Alrighty. Cool. Okay. Thanks, little buddy, little pal. I got another nat 20.
Nah.
So it's investigation. Oh, it's only
Yes.
23. I'm good
Right.
at perceiving things and stealing things. That's it.
18 for Beatrice.
Okay. 18. So Beatrice, you see like it's mostly kind of cavern at this point, but you see there's like remnants of different rooms that would have been dug out here or would have had this dirt and stone kind of cover over them over the centuries and millennia. Conrad, you see much of that as well, except for you also catch a glimpse of some sort of gemstone embedded within the rock.
Looks around. Well, can't hurt. He's gonna get out a little dagger and try and pry it out.
Okay. Roll
Just
me
like kicks one up from his boot.
Yeah, roll me a sleight of hand check.
Oh, that's the thing I'm good at. Okay. Can I get Exley to assist me in any way?
Okay,
I don't think there's a
probably
possibility.
not. Probably not.
Rolling that one, so it's a 16, but still in that one on the one thing
Yeah.
I'm good at.
You managed to loosen it, but it's not enough to
Yeah,
completely pry
that's
it out.
fair. Oh well.
But it's enough that you can. It's enough that you kind of get a better look at it, and you notice, like now in the light, you weren't sure whether it was just a diamond that looked dark because of the amount of stone surrounding it, and it was just reflecting it. But now that you've pried a lot of it free, even if it's still embedded somewhat in the wall, you do note that it is. It seems to actually be actually black. It feels almost like a diamond or a precious gem of some sort, but the coloration is more akin to a deep obsidian.
Not coming out. That's annoying. Well.
I mean, you can always make another try. The DC is high. The DC is technically
I'll take
higher.
10 on it.
But,
Okay. I'll try again.
if you wanted to take enough time, then you could probably might hold things up and something might happen in the meantime, but always a possibility.
I'll try again. Alright. Let's go. Alright. So it's not that one, I guess. So it's a bonus. So 22.
22. Okay, so it takes you a while, but like at
People's
this
idea
point,
of how bad I'm rolling, I have a plus 15 to sleight of hand. I just never get to use it.
Yeah. It takes
And now,
It takes you quite a while at this point, but like at this point you're deep within like that sunk cost fallacy territory of like it's loose. It's just one
too
more
much
try.
evidence this. I can't be bothered stopping
and
now.
especially when you feel like how loose it is like just one more, no, just one more scrape, no, come on, just jiggle it and scrape, like alternating between scraping away stone with the dagger and moving the gem in its place. And after probably about you're actually probably so wrapped up in trying to get this free that you don't even know how much time has passed. Is it 5 minutes? Is it 10 minutes? You don't know. But
We're just like, where the hell's Conrad?
you get this gem out of the wall, and it looks almost as if it is an immaculately cut diamond, except for the fact that it is completely black.
He kind of stands there panting a bit, holding. He's like, well, there, I did it. There we go. He just like shoves it in his pocket in his little hip bag.
Beatrice from a little further ahead just says, did you say something?
No, I'm fine. Doing a good job with what I'm doing. Carry on.
Sure.
So yeah. Meanwhile, in the library itself, Caleb and Bo are essentially poring over the spines of the books here and trying to see, okay, what's in decent state, what looks like it could be of interest to the Cobalt Reserve. What are Sevia and Fall doing?
Unless you've got any other ideas, Fall's probably. I mean, I don't know if he has to keep doing the Song of Rest, but otherwise he would be like trying to look at the books as well and just getting immensely bored and like losing focus all the time. Just twiddling his thumbs. Like,
Yeah.
Sevia is once again, like, she's put all the stuff in not her, it's the group's bag of holding. We planted it together. And then she's looking for any more books that could be interesting, anything else that may help us. Feeling a very particular mask-shaped weight in the weight of the bag. And then if it's looking like there's nothing else, like, there's obviously plenty interesting to find, but nothing relevant to what we're looking for, which is either how defeat Tiamat or how go home. She will venture further down towards where Conrad and Beatrice are, but she will like gesture at Fall to kind of indicate that she's like going a bit further down, and
Okay.
you know, she's all good.
it's nice.
We'll probably eventually wander over as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So then a bit more exploration further.
Yeah,
So,
once we're down there, she'll look
Yeah.
at the secret, more rotten books.
yeah. So yeah, roll me an investigation check.
Okay. Let me get my modifier up. Investigation?
Yeah.
Oh my god. A 17?
Ooh, Full got a dirty
that-
20.
Yeah.
She rolled a 2.
My investigation to Sevia is sleight of hand to Conrad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even the so the 17 you're probably finding about the same as Beatrice. Like you're making your way through, you're not getting lost. You're seeing that there's like side rooms that once existed in a fuller state. But there's nothing really catching your eye. Paul, I think for a 20 you probably notice a small, like, what was probably a closet of some sort, that seems to have a couple of, like, more tattered books in it.
Okay, I'll investigate the closet.
Okay. So most of the remains of the books here are... What languages do you speak?
Oh, not many. Common and Infernal.
Yeah, so most of it... Yeah. I don't think there's any of it that is necessarily in languages that you understand. So it's hard to gather what it's about. But some of it, from the way that it's written up, looks like it may have been considered important or special in some way.
They look fancy. I guess.
Yeah, some of it looks fancy.
Found anything, Xavier? These books look quite fancy. They might be magical.
Oh, yes, no, I'm finding most of the same out here. Nothing particularly relevant to what we're doing. Let me have a look.
Yeah, go
Sticks
for
a
it.
little hidden.
I mean, it's hard to know what to look for unless you literally find, like, big picture of how to teleport or something.
Yes, a picture book would certainly be more helpful. Something with diagrams, maybe.
Yes, they're all in weird languages.
Yes, okay, Sevia looks in, has a look around. Are any of the books in languages she can speak?
What languages do you speak?
Let me check in my proficiencies in languages tab. Abyssal, Celestial, Common, Elvish, Halfling, Infernal, Sylvan.
There's one or two things in Celestial.
Okay.
Um,
Okay, actually, what in there looks like the most promising book, even if it is not in a language Sevia can speak?
roll me...
She is judging a
roll-
book by its cover.
Yeah. Roll me a flat intelligence check.
Black int. 17.
17. Okay, so yeah, you see one that is probably in poorer condition, but you see that there's bits of gilding that haven't quite flaked off over the years to it, and it's got a nice cover, and it seems like it's been poured through a lot.
Okay. She is going to find this book, hold it up to Fall, and go, this could be promising. I've never done this. I haven't done this since I was at college, but I'll give this a go. And she's going to plonk her little butt down on the dirty, dirty floor, just outside the cupboard. She is going to spend 10 minutes to ritual cast Comprehend Languages.
Okay.
Nice.
Anyone else doing anything during that 10 minutes?
I was watching expectantly, expecting something cool to happen, and then Xavier just stares at a book for 10 minutes.
Beatrice may have wandered back at this point, and we'll have a look at the books as well.
Okay.
And
Yeah, kind of still having a look around. He's just kind of away from the group a bit, probably talking to himself. And well, not talking to himself, but you know. Like, oh, you're so quiet now. Anything you want? Some direction would be appreciated. He's just saying under his breath the whole time he's having a wander around. That's about it.
Beatrice will grab one of the books that's in Celestial.
Okay. Roll me. Is there anything that you're trying to find as far as a look?
Just something interesting.
Okay, so roll me an intelligence check to gather. So with advantage because you would be able to see titles.
Neither of those were good. But the better one was a 12.
Okay. All right. So you probably pick up something that's. I mean, it's fine enough. It's a basic. Flicking through it, it seems to be a basic history of the creation of Exandria. It's very much incomplete at this point because of it. Like, it's still fairly new world essentially. At the time of writing, because this is all pre-divergence writings, but it's still information. It's probably more accurate than anything created more recently, as far as this type of information is concerned. Sevia, as you finish your spell, the book you found is a book on the gods of that have a connection to Exandria. And there's no sort of table of contents with it, but it does seem to be in alphabetical order.
I flip to T.
Yes, and you are able to find a passage on Tiamat. So, let me just... So... So... Tiamat is known in Exandria also as the Scaled Tyrant, and most of her representations exist as warnings within the sanctuaries of Bahamut. And there is It's all kind of outdated, again, because it's kind of pre-divergence. But there's a lot of talk of her as this immense drake with 5 heads, and basically she was this powerful draconic tyrant.
Okay, she says out loud, probably shaking her head a bit as she kind of goes between like the almost internal translation of like reading words and having them magically filtered through your brain, and the literal translation of them too. So there's probably some stuff where she has had to like work out the context of it. She kind of looks up and she goes, well, I found some information on the gods. A little outdated, but everything Arkan said about Tiamat was true. Tyrant.
Oh, wonderful.
Well, I can keep having a skim just to see if there's anything else any of the other gods may have to offer, but as far as Tiamat goes, that's nothing we didn't already know. Arkan's terrible, she's terrible. Put the two in a room, it's all terrible. Woo.
Yes, that's true. So is Tiamat, like, here somewhere? Will he be able to get to her easily?
Doesn't really say. It's outdated again, and from what I can read, the gods in Exandria are difficult. It's of a sort akin to Fierlor. I've read some information in here about how they used to play a far larger role in the Goe, but then as things I don't believe that's the actual, they call it a divergence, but at least that's what Caleb said, but there's a calamity and there's a divergence and the gods did a lot of things in that time. I'll have to read some more, but
Right, yes, well that's good to know. Hopefully he won't be able to, I don't know, get to her immediately. Not sure of the details.
well, if he could get to her immediately, I doubt he would have sent his second in command to us on a big scary hydra.
No, good point.
I mean, if anything, we could maybe assume that Arkan's a little scared of us.
The other option is that maybe he didn't know that we were here. We're going to turn up here.
He was looking for something.
Yeah. Perhaps he's looking for the other masks. Perhaps he's got people out everywhere.
Maybe. But there are also many other things in here. Vestiges, grimoires, all sorts. It's a lost library. It's full of information.
Precisely.
You could be looking for anything. The masks are a feasible option, but...
True.
Well...
But I doubt he was looking for us.
It's a self-centered view.
If, as you say, this place has information on the time before the gods got shut out, perhaps he thinks there may be information on how to bring back.
An astute observation.
Something a little bit more foolproof than his last attempt.
Fair. Although from what we've seen, I'm not sure how much you'd find. This is all out-of-date information. But then again, maybe there is something we are missing. We are not from here. I'll keep reading I'll see what I can find.
It's difficult if considering Kroll, unless he sent other people as well, he mustn't have gotten what he came here for. So what would probably be best is to try to seal this place off or something. I mean, he's probably going to want to come back.
Fair.
I might mention that to the others.
Yes, they wield far more in this particular situation than we do.
Yes, they seem to have a great deal of power. I'll see what they suggest. I guess forward to start off.
Then I guess we keep looking while we have the ability to look. Maybe there are other masks down here. And Sevia will very studiously go through her little book of gods for a bit and try to work out if there's anything that she's missing. Kind of skim reading, looking to find anything that might help. But in the meantime, she is also going to have a little look around, make sure no one, cough cough, Beatrice, is looking at her directly. She's going to cast a little message. Old Conrad. And she just gets a little ping. And she just says, "Thank you for before."
There's a little bit of a pause, and again, it's not he's not using that specific. He's not messaging. Oh no, you have to message back. It's not sending. You don't get a free response.
Yeah,
you
no,
do.
you get a response.
Oh, you get a
message.
free response. Okay, cool. All right, well then I won't bother to do that. All right. So then he just replies. He's just like, "Oh, no problem. You seemed interested."
Yes. But it was good of you to back me up. I know my hunches are not always correct, but there might be something here.
I have a book I want you to look at.
A secret one?
Yes. For now.
We'll find time.
We'll find time.
I wanted to speak to you at some point too.
What
Privately.
about?
If he looked over at her, he would see her pulling that face she makes when she's trying to work out how to navigate a social situation.
Conrad doesn't look over at her. He's just studious, look at the wall. Or probably Beatrice looks over, or someone who's nearby be like, huh. Or no one.
You're just He could probably hear in the tone of the message her doing her little bit where she just goes, well, nothing one would strictly call bad, just a chat as friends about some things I've noticed and want to check in with you about.
Oh. Okay then. Sure. We'll do that.
We can either find time now while the other two are doing things, or later? I don't know.
He turns around and just stalks over to her. Stops messaging. We've just been further down the passageway. Yes? What? Speak? What about?
Beatrice is still rummaging around in the cupboard.
Sevia scurries to get up and like loops her arm through Conrad like a little country debutante, and then like
He stiffens up, looking a bit flustered, like, oh, what?
and she like scurries further down the hallway to where Beatrice can't see them.
He kind of gets pulled a bit along, like, followed closely at the heel by his shadow spawn.
Yeah. She is followed by Harold, who's probably, again, like, big scary me? I must be big scary me. I'm probably quite puffed up, but not aggressive. And then she's gonna, like, in a very similar image to many, many moons ago, she's gonna, like, pull him to the side, like, in front of a, like, to the side of a bookcase, like, tucked away in the corner. And she's gonna be like, how are you?
He just stares at her for a moment. Why are you asking that?
Well, it seems like the answer is probably not good. And, I don't know, it seems the thing to do.
Ah, yes, that's right. That's what you say to people periodically.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. I'm fine. How are you?
No, I want to approach this with a sort of tact. Conrad, considering what you have been through.
He does tense at that.
And it looks as if she's thinking of, like, multiple things all at once, weighing up her options. And she goes, I have noticed, as of late, I don't know how to phrase this without coming across as if I am accusing you of something.
Take care. Your tone is not of great comfort.
My apologies.
Speak.
Is your lack of appetite a choice that we can help you with, or a byproduct of something?
He's kind of taken off guard a bit, like he was expecting her to ask something else. And he sort of just like furrows his brow momentarily, like, like he's just sort of remembering something himself, and he's like, oh, I see. It is less that I... Like he's considering something carefully. I mean, we have been sporadic of late anyway, since we have been traveling endlessly. Plane upon plane. And what's more, I suppose it is less that I do not. I suppose I have no interest. And he kind of falters for a moment, his gaze sort of like sliding to the side a bit, like somewhere off focus, I guess. And what's more, I suppose I have no need to be more precise.
No need?
No.
Is that your god?
It is something. Watch this. Cover my mouth.
She reaches out cautiously and places a hand over his mouth.
He reaches out and grabs her wrist. Not really hard, but just holds it there. and then kind of just like closes his eyes, and he stops breathing. Which, like, you can hold your breath, that's fine. And then just continues.
Yeah,
If she tries to take her hand away, he'll hold it there.
Yeah, there's this like his eyes are closed so he can't see, but there's this moment of confusion where she's like, is this really the time? Is this some sort of silly little prank thing? And then it keeps going. And she panics for a moment and goes to move her hand back, not to make him stop, but as if remembering another time where he wasn't breathing and panicking to try and help him. And against his mouth, you would almost feel, if he had been conscious at that time, that same fizzling magic that comes with Toll the Dead. Not Toll the Dead, Spare the Dying.
Oh, yeah.
But then she sees that he is in no distress, that he is calm, that he is standing there as sure and alive as anything. And the magic fades. And she just looks at him.
And after about 2 minutes, he opens his eyes. And then lets go of her hand.
She doesn't move it for a second. And then in a very uncharacteristic way, she slides it to like the side of his face. Just
he sort of like flinches for a moment, but not like majorly. Just like involuntarily. And slides his eyes questioningly to hers.
She just looks sad. And she just holds her hand there for a second and lets it come down. It's one hell of a party trick.
Yes, to put it lightly, I suppose.
So you don't breathe or necessitated?
I don't appear to need to, no.
You neither necessitate eating or drinking?
No.
Do you derive joy from it? Relief?
I have not derived joy from many a thing for many a time. I do not know whether that is connected.
Well, it's difficult to tell where we've been, isn't it?
It is much true. And he just kind of like sighs, which is obviously like a purposeful choice from him, or it's just his brain going, oh yes, this is I'm restarting what's meant to be happening, not what's required of me. And then he sort of just moves, like, so his back is like against the wall next to Sevia, and he just looks out. He's like, this is not what I imagined of myself when I left home.
I can't imagine it was.
No, I thought it would be much easier than this, but alas.
Is that... And she stops for a second and then kind of shifts her feet as she seems to be visibly rephrasing something. When we speak of going home, Conrad, do you imagine there is anywhere for you to go?
And as you're thinking on that, you hear the voices, the ever-present voices, call out to you, calling, once we are free. And that's where we're going to leave it for this week.
Oh, okay. Spicy. All right. See you all next week.
See you next time.
Next week. Have a good one.
Goodbye.